So here we are in our last question of this passage, passage 1 and passage 2. And I want to talk to you for a moment about the question order rule. I know I've brought it up to you before, and essentially the idea about question order rule is that the questions will move in sequence of the passages. So the questions that you come into contact with first are from the beginning of the passage, and then the last questions come from the end of the passage. And that works. However, I want to show this to you. It's not going to work on number 42 because this is our first question that is only from passage 2. So all the other ones have been looking at the difference between passage 1 and passage 2, looking at the difference between passage 1 and passage 2. All of them actually have been looking at the differences between passage 1 and passage 2. There hasn't been any one that's specifically from passage 2 yet. So it is really coming into the very first one where we're looking for evidence only within passage 2, and therefore the question order rule won't work on this one. So let's have a look again. Why are we going back into the passage? We have to. We can't answer this one without going back into the passage, unfortunately. But we're going to go in and we're going to look for them saying that Brian believes that Beveridge is naive because the islanders will object to being governed by Americans. So in no uncertain term, we are looking for theme because, again, our theme is forcing government on a state will cause resistance. Denying them a voice is political bondage and slavery. So we're looking for that. Essentially, we're looking for where did we find a theme. We'll start on line 38. We're going to look if it, ending on 43, ability, looking for them again. They will object to being forced to follow. Line 38, starting with if, very first sentence. Going to line 43, ability. So if it is right for the United States to hold the Philippine Islands permanently and imitate European empires and the government of colonies, the Republican Party ought to state its position and defend it, but it must expect the subject races to protest against such a policy and to resist it to the extent of their ability. That's really where I started seeing the theme. And as much as I would love to say that I found our answer, I can't get rid of it because it's exactly what we're looking for. If you're a little concerned, we'll go on and we'll look for the rest of them. But again, we're looking for them to say the islanders will object to being governed by the Americans. Line 44 to 45, the Filipinos, and we're only going until living in 45. So the Filipinos do not need any encouragement from Americans now living. Doesn't say anything about government. So we're going to get rid of that one. Line 45 to 47, between our and government. Our whole history has been an encouragement not only to the Philippines, but also who are denied a voice in their own government. Our whole history, denying their own government, as much as I like it, it's not exactly what we're looking for. We're not seeing that they're objecting. So there's no objection in there. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Line 51 to 53, when to men. When he uttered a passionate appeal, give me liberty or give me death, he expressed a sentiment which still echoes in the heart of men. As much as I love it, it's not really saying that the islanders will object to being governed by the Americans. It's just too broad brush, so we can get rid of that one. So our choice is A. We've had a lot of practice with a lot of different strategies in this one. I like it a lot because it has really made us focus on theme. So reading for theme, always reading for theme. And passage 1 and passage 2 is the perfect practice for looking for theme because we're actually finding two different themes and seeing how they're applied into the questions. So as you noticed, when we were coming down to answering the questions, we didn't have to look back because we found the theme and we chose the answers that matched our theme, and it helped us remind ourselves so that we didn't have to look back. On the ones that we did have to look back, we went back quickly and we knew why we were looking back. And we also had a few most nearly me's. I think we had 3 in this one, so that was fun. A nice practice. And again, following our question order rule. Elimination, I hope you've seen by now, helps so much in helping your brain narrow things down and make it into a puzzle, and following through on choosing the theme. That's been our biggest takeaway today. Thank you so much for studying with me. I really enjoy Passage 1 and Passage 2. I hope that you do too. I know we're going slowly now to learn these strategies. We'll pick up the pace next time when we work on our next Passage 1 and Passage 2. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for studying with me today.